Welcome to Tales from South Florida. I'm your host, Bill Monty, and in this episode, I invite you to take a talk down memory lane to one of the most painful and defining moments in Miami history, the killing of Miami resident Arthur McDuffie, the police cover-up that followed, and the 1980 Miami riots that changed the city forever.
These are the tales from South Florida for you. With your host, Bill Monty.
Before we go any further, I ask you to please like, comment, share, and subscribe because that's how this podcast grows, and that's how these stories keep getting told. This is one of those stories that still echoes in Miami streets, in neighborhoods like Liberty City, Overtown, and downtown itself. It is not an easy story to talk about. It is not light, but it is important, especially given what is happening right now in America. No matter what side of the political aisle you stand on, you must agree that the actions being taken leading to the deaths of Americans in our streets is not acceptable. It's Miami, late 1979. This is a city already on edge. Rapid growth, deep racial divides, a police department under scrutiny. Liberty City is struggling, economically boxed in, politically ignored, and emotionally exhausted. On December 17, 1979, a 33-year-old black insurance salesman and former Marine named Arthur McDuffie is riding his motorcycle home through Liberty City. And what happened next would change Miami forever. The official story was that Arthur McDuffie fled after a traffic stop. They say he crashed. They say his injuries came from the accident. But the injuries did not match their story. Because Arthur McDuffie was beaten brutally with flashlights and nightsticks. And then the cover-up began. At first, the official story holds until the cracks started showing. And this is where the Miami Herald enters the picture, specifically a reporter by the name of Edna Buchanan, a legendary crime journalist who didn't just accept police narratives at face value. Buchanan and others at the Herald noticed something was deeply wrong, the medical evidence not matching a motorcycle crash. Witness statements were conflicting. Officers' accounts changed. What emerged was a quiet but devastating truth. Arthur McDuffie had been chased, cornered, beaten, and officers helped to conceal it. By the time the full story surfaced, trust, already fragile, was shattered. 4 officers were charged. The trial was moved out of Miami to Tampa, supposedly to ensure fairness. But on May 17, 1980, the verdict came down. Not guilty. All of the officers were acquitted. For many in Miami, especially people of color, that verdict wasn't just about Arthur McDuffie. It was about years of police brutality, economic neglect, broken promises, and a justice system that just did not seem built for everyone. And that's when the city exploded. What followed after that verdict was 3 days of unrest unlike anything Miami had ever seen. Liberty City and Overtown burned. 18 people were killed. Hundreds more were injured. There was over $100 million in damage. This was not random violence. It was targeted rage. Businesses seen as exploitive were destroyed. National Guard troops rolled through Miami streets. For many longtime residents, this felt less like a riot and more like a scream that was finally being heard. But here's the painful part. After the smoke cleared, the promises came. City leaders vowed there would be economic investment, there would be jobs, there would be a redevelopment of black neighborhoods. Out of this moment eventually came projects like the Miami Arena, which opened in 1988. The original arena was home to the Miami Heat, major concerts, national events. Downtown Miami got revitalized. Miami-Dade Community College opened an assessment center so that they could help train new police officers, existing police officers, and that spread throughout first South Florida and then became nationwide. I know because I worked there in the late 1980s to the mid-1990s. But Liberty City? Much of the promised development never arrived. Shocking, right? The jobs that came were temporary, businesses did not return, wealth did not circulate locally. The arena rose, the arena fell. Liberty City waited, and waited, and waited. Arthur McDuffie's name still matters because his death forced changes in police oversight. It shaped Miami's national reputation. It exposed racial fault lines that are still visible today. And it also created a generation that learned painfully that justice delayed often becomes justice denied. And that trust, once broken, it is hard to rebuild. And even outside of Miami and South Florida, the racial inequality when it comes to justice has been prevalent ever since this time. You need only say the names of Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and unfortunately countless others. I mentioned earlier about what's happening today, and there is a part of me that wonders, is the outrage people are feeling now because at this point in time, the law enforcement officers are not killing people of color. They're killing white people. I guess that gets a whole new conversation going. But it's a conversation that started a long time ago with the death of Arthur McDuffie, who should have gone home that night. Instead, his death became a mirror, showing Miami who it was and who it still needed to become. If you lived here as I did back then, you remember the fear, the smoke, but maybe more importantly, you remember the silence afterward. If you came later, then this story might explain why Miami feels the way it does. My friends, take a moment to show some kindness to everyone you meet. Let your rage dissipate. And this time, just like back in 1979, we need that so much. Thank you for taking a talk down memory lane with me. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It truly helps the podcast grow, and I do so appreciate it. You can visit talesfromsouthflorida.com for more episodes, our Spotify playlist, links to our YouTube channel, links to contact me, and to support the show. And if you remember these days, I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, be safe and be kind.
Let's take a talk down memory lane, 'cause the stories around here are just insane. Pirates World, the Sporto and Wolfies do, Palm Beach to Key West, that's where we grew. These are the tales from South Florida for you, with your host Bill Monty.
Hello, friends. Bill Monty here, and I'm inviting you to join me on the podcast, Bill Monty's Guide for Getting Older. Now, this is not a podcast about being old. No, it's about understanding the world we're growing older in, how we care for each other, how we protect what we've built, and how we make sense of the systems that are supposed to look out for us, especially when we need them the most. Bill Monty's Guide for Getting Older. It is available wherever fine podcasts can be found, and I look forward to talking with you soon.